Hey everyone, my name is Chad Lemon. Welcome back to the workshop. Today we're talking about middle schoolers and social media. A study put out by the University of Wisconsin in Madison actually said that 84% of tweens, of middle schoolers, have created a social media account illegally, and that 20% of those were helped by their parents. Now, when I say illegally, I mean we're not supposed to be letting our kids onto social media before the age of 13. If you read every end user license agreement that is with Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of the social networks, most if not all of them say 13 years of age. So when we as parents are setting up a social media account for a middle schooler, which again, we're going to get into why that is a terrible idea. It's one of the worst things that you can do as a parent. When we do that, we are effectively lying to get them on this platform about their age. Because especially, I know for a fact on Facebook, you have to put in what your birthday is to make sure that they validate that. So, why are we letting our kids, our middle schoolers specifically, our 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders on social media? I'm a big proponent of having a plan. I'm a big proponent of you and your spouse having a plan for each one of your children for their digital upbringing, their digital development, their social media use, because you are parenting with the end in mind. I've said that many, many times. The end comes when they are 18, 17, 19 years old. They go off to college. That is the end of your daily influence as a parent. And so how have you prepared them for that moment? Because they're going to be on social media with their phones, with their laptops, with their any kind of devices that they have. They're going to be on social media when they get to college. That is almost a certainty. But how are you preparing them for that? So I'm not advocating for no social media ever. Do not mistake what I'm saying. I'm saying that while kids are in middle school may be the most volatile time in their lives, and complicating that with social media is never a good idea. 84% have done that before they were supposed to, before they were even legally able to do that. That's something to think about. Couple of things to remember about your middle schooler and social media. And if you don't have a middle schooler, or if you've got a high schooler, maybe you regret letting them on social media too early. It is never too late to take back those reins, to kind of put up those boundaries and fences and put those restrictions in place, no matter how old your child is. There's no such thing as too late. There's also no such thing as too early. If you've got an elementary schooler, if you've got a first or second, third grader, these are the things that they're going to be thinking about. How many of you have an elementary schooler that is asked to be on Roblox or asked to be on one of these multiplayer games that are out right now on iPads, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, all those different things? Yeah, those are effectively, in some forms, social media. It's almost a elementary version of social media before they're able to get to the Facebooks and the Twitter and the YouTube. Even YouTube is a form of social media. So here's the thing though. We have to understand social media was not designed for children. Social media companies do not care about your child's well-being. They don't care about your well-being. What do they care about? They care about dollars. They care about their bottom line. They care about how much money they can make, how much data they can pull. So they don't care about your child's well-being, and they don't care about yours. These networks were not designed for children. When we think about the way that a tween's brain is, and I keep using that term tween, but it's your 6th, 7th, 8th grader. There are so many things about their brains that are underdeveloped. There's so many things that are absolutely being formed at that time. It may be one of the most important developmental parts of a child's life is that middle school time frame, that 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old time frame. That is the most amount of changes. It's about puberty, it's about emotions, it's about all sorts of different things that complicate and make things difficult. Middle school is hard enough without complicating it with something like social media. And so again, social media was not designed for children. It was not designed for middle schoolers especially. Their underdeveloped brains can't really manage that distraction. They can't manage the temptations that come with social media use. You can't teach necessarily at that point, also in the second place, the maturity that social media requires. Parents say that they want to teach their child to use social media. I've heard it all the time that they want, well, I want to teach my child how to effectively use it, or how to get used to it, because it's going to be a part of their lives. Well, there are ways to do that don't involve you do it. High school is a good time to start those things, and age 13 and 14 is a good time to allow your child to maybe have their own device. We've talked about that here on the channel. It's a good time to allow them to have incredibly limited access to social media. The way I describe it is that you wouldn't throw a small child into an Olympic-sized swimming pool and just think that they could swim, right? We wouldn't do that. So that is what we are doing if we allow our children, especially younger children, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, to get on social media but not watch what they're doing. They're going to effectively drown. And it is going to, the things that they're going to see, the things that they are going to experience, the drama, all the developmental things that are going to be happening to them while they're looking at those screens so much, it's going to be a big, big deal. So that's something to keep in mind. We want our kids to wade in the stream ankle deep. We want them to graduate up to being in the kiddie pool and being in the 2-foot, 3-foot small end of the swimming pool to learn how to swim before they jump into the deep end. That's what we really want. And so again, have a plan, but have that gradual plan start after middle school. The third thing that I think that we can understand, and that we need to understand, all of us kind of need to understand, is that social media is entertainment. It's not. It's an entertainment technology. It's just like Netflix or YouTube or it's any of those types of things. Social media does not educate necessarily. You're not going to learn a ton of stuff on social media. You may be able to argue with me on that, and that's fine. But honestly, it is a 99% entertainment technology. You're not preparing your child for life by giving them access to social media at an early time frame. What you're doing is you're handicapping them and their development cycle. Again, it is so crucial in those years, those 10, 11, 12-year-old years, to make sure that your child is seeing the right things and developing the right things at a sense of their personality and who they really are. And that really goes into factor when they are looking at things like Instagram and Facebook and seeing all the things on Facebook and necessarily that you cannot control. In the fourth place, there's something to be said about losing a connection. We may talk about social networks that connecting people all over the world, right? But if we allow our children, who are, again, very susceptible because of their development, if we allow them to become addicted to that social media and to those screens somehow, it can be very unhealthy. It can cause a lost connection with family members, with friends, with all sorts of different things. You don't want to see your child withdraw because of something that they were bullied about on social media or having a screen at too early of an age. You don't want that lost connection there. Repairing damage done in the middle school years is going to be very, very difficult, especially as you get into high school. I don't have high school kids yet. I cannot speak to that personally. I can only speak to that what I have seen from kids' parents who I have talked to, who allowed them to have social media at too early of an age. In fact, there is a correlation. In fact, the last 2 years where we've dealt with COVID, and since March 2020, there has been an 18% rise in depressive symptoms in, get this, 13 to 24-year-olds. And some of that starts in middle school. Some of that starts even before that time. We've been spending a lot of time on these screens, especially with the pandemic, and I know that that's ramped down a lot now and that we're mostly back to normal, but that year there where we had to do online school and look at screens a lot has really, really impacted your kids, maybe more than you know. And so that's something to consider as well. All right, bottom line, your middle schooler does not need to be on social media, period. My middle schooler is not going to be on social media. When I have my other two boys who get in middle school, they're not going to be on social media. And I can absolutely recommend that to you to not do that. As parents, it's easy for us to succumb to the peer pressure of other parents letting their kids get on these networks and communicate and be the popular or cool kids and things like that. There's always that kind of peer pressure. I get that. Stand firm, though. Do not allow your kids to get on social media, and develop that plan with your spouse. As your kids grow older, get in high school, 13, 14, 15 years old, have that plan in place to where you can introduce them in a more healthy way to social media and some things that you can do with that. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much. Please like, please subscribe. I know I keep saying that. I know every YouTuber says that. It really helps us out if you like, and if you more so if you subscribe. So we appreciate that so much. Thank you very much. We'll see you very soon.